A 2002 study undertaken in France for the International Agency for Research on Cancer examined nearly 63,000 men from 13 different countries who had worked for a period of at least 1 year in the pulp and paper industry between 1945 and 1996. 36% of these workers had been exposed to asbestos fibers. Out of this group, numbering approximately 22,650 men, 14 had died from pleural cancer or mesothelioma. Among the remaining 47,000 who had not been exposed to asbestos on the job, there were 10 deaths from the same cause. Those numbers may seem insignificant, and the fact is that mesothelioma continues to be a rare, though increasingly common, form of cancer. It is worth noting that the rate of cancers among those exposed to asbestos was well over twice that of the unexposed population. In 2005, an Italian team studied a group of workers who had been exposed in a factory in the Tuscany town of Pistoia. The workers had manufactured drying machines for textile and paper machines. Among the 234 workers studied, 6 had some form of lung disease. One of this group had pleural plaques. The source of the asbestos came from the cement used in the insulating panels, which contained crucidolite, amosite, and crystal tile asbestos. Types of asbestos. While all asbestos is deadly, some are more deadly than others. Crucidolite and amosite, also known as blue and brown asbestos, respectively, contain fibers known as amphiboles. Under a microscope, these fibers resemble rigid needles, and once inside a person's lungs, behave like them. They burrow into the soft tissues of the lungs' alveolar sacs, eventually working their way to the outside pleural lining. Medical science indicates that these fibers interact with healthy cells in some way that causes the DNA to mutate, triggering the cancer known as mesothelioma. Amphibole asbestos fibers are known for their strength and resistance to corrosive chemicals such as acids, making them very useful in pulp and paper mills. These have largely been banned, however. The other type of asbestos is called serpentine, also known as chrysotile or white asbestos. These fibers are softer and have a curled shape. For many years, the chemical industry attempted to pass this form of asbestos off as being of the safe variety. A study performed at the Mount Sinai Hospital School of Medicine indicated otherwise, however, clearly demonstrating little difference in the health effects between serpentine and amphiboles. In addition, a great deal of chrysotile is contaminated with tremolite, a type of amphibole asbestos. Where else was the asbestos? In a 2005 verdict delivered by a Seattle jury, a 75-year-old former paper mill worker who had been employed at Crown Zellerbach plant in Port Townsend, Washington, was awarded nearly $250,000. In the complaint, the plaintiff alleged that he was exposed to asbestos fibers from the dryer felts that he changed on paper machines several times daily during the time he worked at the plant between 1946 and 1992. The manufacturer of the felts, Aston Johnson, was ultimately held liable. It should be noted that in cases in which pulp and paper mill workers sue for damages for asbestos-related illness, the pulp and paper mill is not necessarily the defendant. Another case filed in Maine in 2006 by 2 former paper mill workers named 24 companies as defendants, which included plumbing suppliers and an insurance company. The mill at which the plaintiffs worked was not named, however. Thank you for watching. This video was produced by Asbestos.Net, a leading resource on all aspects of asbestos and mesothelioma. Our priority is to inform victims about the devastating effects of asbestos exposure, mesothelioma, asbestos cancer, asbestosis, and other asbestos-related diseases, and to advise them with a wealth of information. Individuals whose lives have been touched by mesothelioma have numerous questions and concerns. Their caregivers and family members also need accurate, reliable information. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with mesothelioma or asbestos cancer and need more information, we invite you to visit and explore the thousands of pages of oncologist-reviewed material on Asbestos.net, to call our convenient toll-free number shown below and speak with a mesothelioma specialist, or to use the simple contact form found at Asbestos.net to request a free copy of our informative books, custom inserts, and DVD.
Asbestos.Net. Information and help for patients and families.